Emma's been waiting on this one all week.
Yeah.
I just love, like...
She was offered a tour, sushi, and poker with the boys.
Yes. And it's just amazing to me. So, like, we said this yesterday. He's caught in a really weird spot in his career, which is that he really like has worn out in like Dave Rubin before him, or other liberals that had that, or people who he used to do Occupy reporting, and now he's a centrist guy, but he says everything he says is completely right wing, and that is becoming more and more clear to people that he's truly a right wing commentator. And so, like, what is the next step in his career when he can no longer pretend to be a liberal like Jimmy Dore, who's saying just right wing things? And he's now going down this kind of manosphere path of about dating advice and like the differences between men and women.
Who better to get dating advice?
And that's the thing, is like, when Jordan Peterson did that stuff, he had the faux intellectualism and the degree.
And a child.
Yeah.
Like, so proof that he fucked.
Yeah.
Right, that one time.
Just to put it crudely.
Yes.
That one time.
And then the Andrew Tate guys, they're taking HGH, or maybe not him,
right,
but like they're working out and they're trying to perform a certain kind of traditional masculinity. But Tim can't really pull that off. So he's not either. He doesn't have the faux intellectualism or the aspirational nature for these lost
What's
young
the archetype here is, I think, the question. Like,
let's say he's trying to win him over with his personality. If anything, here's what I'll say.
That's another problem.
Which is true. But I at least give him credit over someone, like Andrew Tate, who is so fragile he has to, like, insulate all his feelings with, the HGH and his massive pecs or whatnot. That's what I'll say about Tim Pool. Like,
okay,
go off, King.
How do you try a strategy that isn't proven to work?
Yeah. To be fair, though, I mean, Tim's still young, so there's still time.
There's still
140.
Let's set up this clip.
So basically, this is a continuation of this. He's going back to prehistoric times to talk about, how men are from Mars and women are from Venus. And he's using his favorite source. It's incredible. Every article, not every, but he's always citing the Daily Mail, the British tabloid.
He has alerts set.
He loves the frickin' Daily Mail.
His subscription to the National Enquirer ran out. That's
exactly.
I think like 3 of the last 4 Tim clips we've played, he has just been reacting word for word from a Daily Mail piece.
So you're getting the news here.
Running, but my understanding, because I watched that when I watched a video about this Native American tribe where they run like hundreds of miles, like just full sprint and stuff like that. But let's read this.
What?
They say, if you envisage
for a second. Just a fact check on this. Are there Native American tribes that can run hundreds of miles?
It's intellectual stuff you guys wouldn't understand.
Yeah, it's
I've seen Pocahontas. All right, there was that song.
Yeah, and
Bro, did you hear about these natives that can sprint 100 miles?
they're running with the colors of the wind.
Yeah, they just like focus on a horizon and they go.
No, they're doing they're doing the Forrest Gump thing at the end of the movie. That's like their entire culture.
Why didn't they just run from the genociders? Yeah, that's crazy. All right.
Let's read this. They say, if you envisage a prehistoric hunter, the vision of a caveman might spring to mind. But a new study claims that these cavemen paled in comparison to their female counterparts. Oh, wow. While women have long been seen as child rearers and gatherers and men as hunters, researchers from the University of Notre Dame have debunked this theory. No, they didn't. They've made a claim.
Notre Dame.
The study found that not only did prehistoric men engage in the practice of hunting, they probably did, but their female anatomy and biology would have made them intrinsically better suited for it. I completely disagree with that. That is a personal statement. I do believe it's fair to say that women...
Oh my God, wait a second.
Okay.
Does he provide evidence for that disagreement? There are other animals in the animal kingdom where the women are the hunters. Lions are like the one that comes right.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Mind.
I mean, that's my understanding based on Lion King, but yeah.
No, I mean,
it's just exactly like, what is it based upon? What does he disagree with what experts say about prehistoric? Like what?
I think I would be a better hunter in the wild than Tim. I'm bigger than him. I think I might be taller, but I might weigh more.
He once went to the Natural Museum of History, and he made an assessment based upon a clay figure or something.
Yeah. Diorama.
All right, go back a little bit. Go ahead.
I completely disagree with that. Their female anatomy and biology would have made them intrinsically better suited for it. I completely disagree with that. That is a political statement. I do believe it's fair to say that women hunted. Sure, women hunt today. And it's probably 80-20. Go to any hobby event. Bro, I'm sorry, man. Go to the skate park. 90% males. Good luck if there's a single female there. Go to a comic shop, a card shop. Go to the poker tables. It's the same.
Shop?
Yes, there are some women there. It's overwhelmingly
Okay, pause
dudes
it.
doing all.
You know, like when I think of modern hobbies that are most applicable to hunting and gathering, I think of skate parks.
Hunter, it's those hunter-gatherer comic book buying.
Yeah, the Hunter Magic the Gathering. Like, bro. It's
And then the playing poker. I mean, like if you can think of anything analogous to the physicality needed to hunt a bear, I think about sitting down at a table and passing out cards.
Playing
Skating,
poker
looking
with
for
the
comics,
boys.
playing cards.
Yeah.
Eating sushi, okay? Show me a prehistoric woman that can do that. I just love that he's reading, like, that at this point he's run out of content, so he's just reading things and getting triggered by them.
Yeah.
Is brilliant. Like,
He's a single man.
No.
He's a single man that, as far as I know, that's upset that more women aren't coming to his skate park. I don't know if he's, but I don't know. This just seems like a guy that's upset that his
He's been
skate
talking
park.
about his girlfriend recently.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
So he's literally defending cavemen. He's going back in time to defend prehistoric masculinity from, like,
Someone has
feminine
to. Well, his
feminism.
proof is that there are more men than women at the poker table. Therefore, in prehistoric times, women were definitely not more suited for hunting than men. Obviously.
Duh.
Hello. Have you seen who's at the skate park when he goes there? I think we can extrapolate for that matter.
Yeah.
On what the prehistoric people did. It's quite obvious. This is amazing. The guy doesn't. It's just amazing. I disagree. It's a political statement to try and assess what prehistoric people did. It's also a political statement that they hunted. How do we know that they hunted?
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
Just
just
because
like
we found a couple of arrows.
maybe just
or,
some feminist cave women
pictures?
who were like trying to fool the historical record.
This is a false flag.
But he doesn't even,
You know
like,
how
just-
They're the
deceptive
ones
women
that-
are.
yeah. Well, the prehistoric women were famous for getting their info in the time capsules that they buried.
Right.
Go back a little bit and let's.
Email there. Go to a comic shop, a card shop. Go to the poker tables. It's the same. Yes, there are some women there. It's overwhelmingly dudes doing all of these things. I don't know what it is that women are doing. I don't hang out in spaces where there tend to be large groups of
Clearly.
women. Perhaps they're shopping or
Pause it.
something.
Can we make sure that
I have not heard of
drop?
them.
You don't have to cut back to me. I just want to make sure that I don't know what women are doing. It needs to be a drop.
I don't
ahead.
know where they are.
The argument is that shopping is akin to gathering, and the reason why men want to score objectives is that it's akin to hunting. I believe it makes infinitely more sense that as women were gathering and men were hunting, this is why you have the trope of women shopping, because they're effectively going out and finding things to bring back to the family that the family needs. I think it's admirable. I don't see anything negative about it. And I think it's silly that people are offended at the notion that women like to shop. This is a funny thing to me. Guys go work. They slay the boar. They bring the meat back.
That's what Tim's doing
They
right
give
now.
the family food. Women go
Lock
out
the door and slay
collect
the boar.
things
Yeah, that's
that
exactly
are
right.
useful to
That's
the
what he
family.
does.
So if you look at this in like a 1950s sense of the wife shopping and the man working,
1950s.
is the
comic
man
idea.
going to go shopping for things the family needs when he's at work? No, the guy's at work handling the new account for, the TPS reports or whatever. Then he
Slaying the
comes
boar.
home,
The TPS
makes money,
Slaying the
and
boar.
the wife says, "I'm
TPS reports. I believe that's from Office Space, right? Is that the thing?
I think like
Is that the or no? Is that from? There's
there's a movie that has TPS reports.
I want him to
don't
keep
know.
going and like deconstruct capitalism, like wage
Yeah,
labor and all this, and be like, why
He's
did
aware
men?
that. I mean, do you think he's aware that during the 50s, that women weren't really allowed in the workforce. Like you could be a secretary. Like maybe he wasn't.
They were so happy though, Sam. They loved
wasn't
it back then.
The reason
they
why
were
they
good at
weren't
gathering.
allowed. They were good at gathering,
Yeah.
and there was just no gathering jobs at the time.
Honey, you're just really good at gathering.
Just go gather. Go gather today. Give yourself a gathering day.
Yeah. Treat yourself.
Going.
Needs when he's at work. No, the guy's at work handling the new account for, the TPS reports or whatever. Then he comes home. He makes money, and
Only
the wife
reference
says,
to
I'm going to
work.
go to the store to pick up the groceries we need for food so we can have dinner. I think it's completely admirable. This show's like, women like shopping. Well, women took it personally, got offended by it, when in reality, it's like, dude, I hate going shopping. I love it when there's just food. Like, you pick up the food, and then, I'll tell you the things that I like, and I appreciate it. But, I don't mind going to the
talking to
grocery
his
store with my
mom.
girlfriend, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we're getting winter clothes, and I'm like, just grab me whatever. You know what I mean? Like, try it on.
Tim would wear whatever. He has no particulars about what's being shopped for him. It's almost like his dress code is like entirely uniform, and he's made pretty active decisions about what he does and does not want to wear, but then pretends that he's above it because that's too feminine.
I love Tim Pool talks about slaying the boar. Like, he talks bullshit into a camera for 3 hours a day and then goes and hangs out by the skate park. I can't. Like, what he could do instead of talking about women be shopping is look at the study and is like, oh, actually, this is based on the fossil record.
Yeah, right.
And maybe get into that a little bit. Instead, it's like, I reject that entirely because women in the 50s, like, what? How do people watch this, I guess, is my question, and think they're getting anything other than just like...
Also, there were massive historical gaps and like centuries and centuries between the prehistoric times of cavemen and women to like the time when we had women be shopping. Like, there are centuries and centuries in between those things.
He needs to pick an argument. He's just ping-ponging back and forth. Are we defending prehistoric man here? Are we talking about shopping, like clothing shopping? Because that's what he seems to end with. Or are we talking about actually putting food on the table? So he's conflating women in the kitchen, prehistoric man rights, and like, I don't like shopping. This beanie smells like an asshole. Like that.
Yeah.
I don't really like. He needs to find a lane and stick to it.
And then there was the sad part of him wishing he had food in his fridge or someone to come home to cook for him. And that seems like a lot of where this stuff comes from.
Impressive work. Is there any more to that video? Let's play one more. Like a minute.
I appreciate it, but I don't mind going to the grocery store with my girlfriend, stuff like that. But we're getting winter clothes, and I'm like, just grab me whatever.
That's what it means to be a mighty man
like,
of valor.
I'll try it on, and grab me whatever you think works. I appreciate that. Look at this. They say, rather than viewing it as a way of erasing or rewriting history, our studies are trying to correct the history that erased women from it. Yes, that's right. Here you go. What is this? Shutterstock, a woman with a spear.
Sorry, that is an addition made by the Daily Mail and not the actual people who did the study, who were like, whoa, look at this photo we somehow got of cave woman hunting.
Yeah, perhaps Tim might want to just look at the study, but he
Where
can't.
it's about the fossil record.
But
Yeah. The history that's being rewritten is the dumb shit that Tim Pool is spewing by default about women be shopping and men be hunting.
Well, I got news for you, Matt. I think Tim has watched a couple of TV shows about the 50s. So I'm pretty sure he knows what he's talking about when it comes to prehistory.
Okay. So here's what they show, right? The female. The suite of features below confer an endurance activity advantage. I'm going to completely debunk this very, very, very easily. This is hilarious.
Number one,
Better psychological
brain.
pacing, greater fatigue resistance through central and peripheral neuromuscular mechanisms. Better insulin sensitivity can increase fatty acid oxidation and spare protein. Increased fatty acid oxidation through mechanisms involving estrogen and adiponectin. Estrogen impacts multiple aspects of athletic performance, increased fatty acid oxidation, blah, 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 blah. Decreased glycogen utilization, increased insulin
That's a live
sensitivity.
shot of
I'm
Emma.
gonna pause there.
Emma fleeing his home, by the way. That was Emma after the debate. Oh, bye.
He's going to debunk all those words that he can't pronounce, by the way.
Do we need more of that? I mean, I think we got the gist.
Well, I want to hear how he's
not
going to
gonna
debunk it so easily.
Absolutely debunk it. I'm going to counter it with an argument. But I do want to point out my immediate assumption
Did he just say he's not going to debunk it? He said he could debunk it so easily. It's hilarious. And now he's saying, well, I'm just going to counter it.
Increased fatty acid oxidation, blah, 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 blah. Decreased glycogen utilization. Increased insulin sensitivity. I got to pause there and just, okay, I'm not going to absolutely debunk it. I'm going to counter it with an argument. But I do want to point out, my immediate assumption on glycogen utilization is that that's a bad thing. You want glycogen utilization. Okay, so not a biological scientist or a nutritionist or any of this stuff. My understanding is when you eat food, when you eat carbohydrates, it converts into glycogen strings, which are stored, I believe, in the liver and then burned. It's not fat. It's like the sugar energy your body uses right away. Fat is then burned and is smaller.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this?
I don't know if we need to hit.
I'll tell you what that is. That is, Tim has hired a nutritionist because he wants to get cut. And the nutritionist told him that much. And now he realizes, like, I can't totally actually debunk this, but I can regurgitate what someone just told me last week. And therefore, prehistoric women were not suited for hunting. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just think it's incredible. Again, the like chauvinistic, whatever misogyny kick everyone's on and all the, that he's on clearly is like, here is an example of how women have more endurance or better runners or have, more stamina, whatnot.
I doubt that.
I know. And he's triggered by that. He's upset that like they're differently abled, and that is upsetting to the entire, whatever right-wing worldview of man best, man good, man is strongest. Women also, lastly, just women, the whole thing, we're talking about theocracy. Like, again, there's back to like what women can do, which is bring life into this world. And it's almost like we're back to that. Men being jealous of this basic fact, and that they can't, harvest little Tim Pools in their, effing matrix or whatever the hell he's building.
The endurance thing, I actually remembered. I knew that before, that there have been studies before this, like this Notre Dame study doesn't come out of nowhere, that women in terms of running, there's some indications that they have higher endurance on a mile to mile basis, where sometimes men trend to be a little bit more faster in sprinting or whatever. But that's not a new phenomenon, but of course he's going to debunk it based on, his anecdotes about poker.
There you go. Well, the poker never lies.
Just invent the male uterus, guys. Get the deuterus. Let's go. I think that would solve everything. Once they can, squeeze new life out of their butts, it'll be fine. All right?
Pass. Pass, please. Pass. Francesca, where can people see your show? Like when? I would imagine where is a much easier question than when.
Yeah, well, you can listen every week, Tuesdays and Fridays. I'll be going live in a little bit at Franny Fio on YouTube, or listen as a podcast, the Bitchwation Room podcast. And please come see Emma and I on Sunday, the 28th of January.
I'm so jealous. I would love to be at that show.
Yeah, that'll be really fun.
Send me a link and I'll, tweet out all the social stuff to get people.
Of course, there should be a link in the description. Hopefully, Bradley threw it down there. But hell yeah, Bay Area. I want to see you guys there.
Yes, for sure.
Francesca, always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.